sort of settled in. Now, Brian, I don't think we have minutes yet.
No, I sent you an email last night. I'm caught up on board meeting minutes, but
Okay.
committee meetings, I'm
You're the hardest working.
drowning.
You and Jamie. Jamie's doing all these interviews. We're live. Yeah. Jamie's doing all these interviews. Brian's doing all the board meeting minutes. Jamie's doing all the interviews. Everybody's busy.
Good.
Yeah, we're good.
Good morning, welcome to the Troy Community Land Bank A&D Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 8th. It is 8:41. We'll start with the call to order. Brian Barker.
Here.
Andrew Cooper.
Here.
Jamie Mager here. Also here is Brad Lewis, Executive Director, and Project Manager Paul Downey. Approval of meeting minutes. We are still catching up on.
Table in that.
Okay, perfect. So we'll go right into discussion items of 791 River Street.
Yeah, everything's still good with 791. The contract was modified back and forth a bunch of times, got our enforcement, our strong enforcement verbiage in the contract, and it was approved for both sides, so we have a signed contract with our strong enforcement mechanism involved in it. So at this point, they just wanted, there's a contingency for phase one, and today my big thing is they want a document dump of all of the construction work we did and anything I can find in the office. I just have to scan it in and put it up on a Google Drive for them. So
Is there a date?
not yet. They gotta do the phase one and they got up to 60 days to do it. So. I love it.
They're doing a phase one because the finance requires it or because they want to do
That's a great question.
That's-
Because he was a cash buyer initially.
it. Right,
And,
but then that changed.
So I think finance is, I don't think he changed that being a cash buyer, but I think you're right that usually if you're gonna finance the modifications, maybe the bank wants to see a phase one.
The bank will always want to see a phase one.
Yeah, so, but I mean, our attorney seemed to feel like that was a normal thing.
Yeah,
He seems to have a lot of real estate experience.
I figured it's phase one because it's mixed use. I figured.
And on top of that, like phase one is like, if I disturb this dirt, what happens? We got a dirt floor for the first floor commercial stuff. It's ready to go. So that you do have to probably dig a trench in the dirt. And I think that's where you get to environmentals, right? I don't know for sure. But
That's what's gonna happen.
yeah. And so when this building was built, did they dig up everything and put it to the side and then put the walls in and then dump the dirt back in, or put in fresh dirt and take the dug up dirt out of there? We don't know that. I don't know who did what, but that's what I think they're trying to figure out.
And they're on the hook for phase one.
Yeah.
Let them do it. Let them do phase two if they want to.
Well, I think phase two would be harder to get done, and yeah. I think they're just making sure that they're not gonna get slammed with like $15,000-$20,000 worth of some sort of remediation or something. Makes sense.
Well, that and, if they go to dispose of the building at a certain time, whoever's gonna buy it will probably finance and will probably require a phase. So they may be just putting that up front and
Right.
getting it off
Right.
their plate.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
What's on the buyer's mind?
Next order of business is the disposition or development further of 336.
Yeah, I got 3330.
I'm sorry, 3330.
Let's change that to 3230. That was a misprint
Okay.
on mine.
So 3230 and 3229, six
Yeah.
bad, coupled with 3209
Yeah.
and
And
3297.
just to say more explicitly is the buildings that were referred to in the article. We just finished them. And, now at this point, they're all stabilized and the question is, what does the A&D committee want to do with them? Do we hold on to them further and wait for more grant funding in a couple of years? Or do we dispose of them now and deal with a vacant building that we find in the future for the next couple of years? I mean, I'll make my recommendation, I think that if we create we use the word velocity before. We create velocity by selling to somebody who's ready to fix them up, then we will find a vacant building in 2 years. Right now, our whole focus is on the ones we've already banked. We have to finish those or spend 75% of our grant from LBI phase 2 in order to get to the next round of funding. And so if we held on to all or some or one of these, we're going to wait until we get to another round.
So we have, our plate is full.
Our plate is full with the stuff that we banked the last time, 871, 834, 836 River Street and 33406.
Part of me feels like once you solve the big problems, right? Like you got new joints, got new roof, you got
Sure.
just put it up for sale. If it goes, great, If it doesn't go, then maybe you consider banking it or renovating it with the next round of funds.
At least you're not holding on to
It's
it.
just, it's just always moved.
We've had these two for a while, correct?
I think 3209 and 3211 was actually sold one time, then slated for demolition another, then a brand new roof another time. Now this time we fixed the joist.
Yeah, I agree with Brian. We've gotten this thing to, it's stabilized, it's ready for somebody to develop it and put some good tenants in it.
Yeah, 3229 I think you've had for a long time, and 3230 I think was just recently acquired the last couple of years to try to fill out that legacy program.
The Seventh Ave project, I think is an awesome project, so
It is.
that really is a good building.
Well,
So-
they're two separate buildings, I should.
Correct, yeah, now they're two separate.
Because of our work with Legacy, we split the 2-3 families up. So somebody buys it, they're buying one side, they're buying the other side.
And even Habitat will take a rehab every once in a while.
Yeah.
They're not crazy about it. They do new builds, but
Mhm.
they'll take them. If there's no bites.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I love it. I can't wait to see the work at Park Ave come up and the buildings go in. It's gonna be really exciting to see the foundations laid for those buildings. And, we've already done stuff on River Street with Habitat. If we have a partner that's working or somebody that's actually making strides that we're partnering with, a developer of some sort.
Yeah.
I know I think, Lozure's interested in the ones on Sixth Avenue. I said to him, you might want to get further ahead on the one we just sold you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's talking about, putting paint on the walls right now, putting the new flooring in and getting further ahead on that. So we'll see where you are with the inspection. That sort of stuff. I just know that there's demand. I mean, Joe Johnson reached out at the Avenue on Facebook a couple times on messages and stuff. There's people that are paying attention that potentially would put it off. Of course, more people, not just the same people.
Dan, can I get a motion to either dispose of all or individual of this list?
To me, you mean to recommend to the board?
Yeah, just the right.
To make that recommendation. I'll motion for all four of these together.
Or if you don't.
No, I'm not questioning that. I just want to clarify.
Yes.
Motion we recommend to the board that we list all four of these properties. See where that takes us. Have we had any real estate? I'll stop there. I made a motion.
Second.
Favor?
So I just one thought. Have our real estate people given us any thoughts on those properties?
No.
If they're marketable or
No,
anything? I don't think they're not. I just.
Yeah.
Thoughts from them.
Yeah, I mean, if they go there and say, you can't sell, you do X, Y, Z, then,
Yeah.
we just ran into that with 17 Park. If you guys remember, I mean, this is a little bit of the story of what happened with that buyer that was trying to get him to 45. And well, we went there to go inspect it, and it was just after that rainstorm we had in February, where everything just glossed over in the city. We were all just sort of slipping and sliding everywhere. Well, the water, the roof was impenetrable. The roof is great. It's a brand new roof, but the roof drain had a cast iron drain. And as soon as the water started trickling down the drain, it started freezing and there was actually a hole. And then as soon as everything thawed, it all just came out the hole and then refroze on the first floor. So we walked in and had an inch of ice on the first floor. And the second floor was bone dry.
Hmm.
So we had to replace the plumbing stuff. We just finished that. Ready to do some showings and stuff. But it was just one of those, like, he showed up at the wrong day. He wanted to check the foundation in the basement. And we go to the basement, there's icicles. I thought you did a new roof, is what he said. Check it out, I don't know. So I'm sure that if something like that came up, and agent was to walk through and say, you gotta do this and you gotta do that, this is what's gonna make it marketable, otherwise it's just price.
Right, yeah.
And, my gut is that 3230 it's gonna be a great project for somebody, because you do 2 kitchens and 2 bathrooms in that building. Now all of a sudden, you can rent it. There's, the sheetrock is nice. There's already, light fixtures, light switches. I'm sure if you do some testing, everything's good. I just think it's probably 2 new bathrooms, 2 new kitchens.
Power's on in there, right?
No, that power's on at River Street.
You're registering.
So, but that one, you're probably looking at something. But, 3229 is all down to studs, and we did a lot of work to save it. It's a new roof, it's a new deck out back. I think that would probably not as good condition, and it doesn't have this finished wall. It doesn't have.
No,
the
it's gonna
wires.
need.
Yeah,
You also know what you're looking at though.
well, you do, if you want.
For me, I would prefer it.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's like,
In my world, but
Yeah, it also depends on like your timeline. Already having the wall sheetrocked and everything, you
Oh,
get
sure.
right in and you just buff and coat the floors and you're in and out or something.
Yeah.
You can get in there, finish it up and then get out of it. It's nice. And 3209, 3211 are just beautiful tree families, so somebody can really isolate their cost to just a six units right there. There's some benefit to that, just the sheer numbers. So it'll be interesting. I think, overall, we might see 200,000. In terms of just, obviously, the board would have to figure out what's the goal with that money in the future, but at least for now, I think
Any more comments? So all in favor to recommend to the board for the disposition of 3230, 3229, 3230, 3229 Sixth Ave, and 3209, 3211 Seventh Ave. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes, or the recommendation passes. Anything else from you, Reg?
we got nothing else. That was the bulk of what we needed to meet about.
Any old or new business?
what's 5 presentation, is that not supposed to be on there?
Yeah, I just kept it up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was particular thing.
Yeah, we don't have any videos for you.
Okay.
He wants another video.
I didn't say it. I just wondered what,
Now he wants the video every meeting.
I was promised a video.
you haven't seen
He
it?
sent me
I wouldn't have come.
before you.
I'll show you.
All right, so if there's no new business or other business, we will set the date for the next A&D meeting for April 5th.
Made it.
May 5th. Sorry.
Simple Doyle.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.